Good morning guys, Diana here from Garden Love. Today I'm going to be doing a lot of work. Most of my repotting is going to be happening today with the help of my husband because I really need to open up my garden for vegetables. Things are a little crazy in the world and I don't think that we're going to run out of food in the stores, but I do think that most of us aren't going to want to go to the stores to buy a few things here and there. So my goal for this year 2020 vegetable garden is to grow as much as I can everywhere I can. And I am going to pot a lot of my fruit trees that are in small containers. That way those small containers can be used for a vegetable. And I'm going to break all of these projects into different videos because I feel like it's going to be way too much into just one video. So I'll go ahead, a lot of videos coming your way. I'm probably going to be wearing the same thing because I'm going to try to get as much done as I can today. And I hope you guys enjoy these videos, especially since you guys are at home and there's not much to do. And I hope that this inspires you to get out to the garden and grow some food, maybe order some seeds. Hopefully you already have some soil. Maybe you already had some compost that you have been making yourself over the last few months, which I have a huge compost bin. Actually, it's not huge, it's a trash can, but to me it's huge for my small urban edible landscape. So let's get to it, guys. I hope that some of the things that I'm doing here gives you guys some ideas and inspires you to get out there, right? Let's go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up a little bit to open up some space and get everything ready. Then I'm going to bring all the soil bags that I'm going to be using to pot my citrus. I'm going to be doing 3 citrus trees today, and I'm going to be using most of these bags from EV Stone Citrus and Palm Soil, one of my favorite soils. I decided to put one of my pink Eureka lemons in the front of my house, so therefore I went ahead and purchased this big container from a big box store. I fell in love with it and I think it's going to look gorgeous. Hey guys, so I'm going to be harvesting some compost out of this container that I built myself. Obviously it doesn't have any openings at the bottom, so that's the default, or you know, the sucky part about growing it this way. So I'm really gonna have to dig in here, move all of this out of the way. As you can see, there's a lot of worms here, which is fabulous for your garden. So I'm just gonna have to scoot a lot of this stuff out of the way and just get to the bottom. If you can see over here, a lot of it is all rich compost. So I am just going to be harvesting this compost so I can put it inside all my citrus that I'm going to be potting today. It's not the best task in the garden, especially for someone like me. Believe it or not, I do not like bugs. I don't like, I mean, the worms are amazing because they do such an amazing job in the garden. But like snails, if I see snails, I will just jump and have one of my kids come and remove it for me. So look at that, all worms, pure compost. Now that I harvest my amazing compost, I selected the container. I'm going to start drilling holes at the bottom of the container to ensure that the tree that I'm going to put in here has enough drainage. To ensure that the soil doesn't get plugged up on these little holes, I'm going to put some recycled water bottles to create a barrier between the holes and the soil. With that, here comes the fun part. Let's grab our favorite soil and start filling up the container. I'm personally a fan of EB Stone Citrus and Palm Soil. I think they do a fabulous job of their mixture. I love using it, and I suggest to try to use it if you get an opportunity. But if you don't, you can always get potting soil, mix it in with some cactus soil and a little bit of worm castings, and that's also a good formula. When you pull your citrus out of its container, just be careful with the trunk and the roots. You don't want to damage it. It's taken a while for it to get to that stage, so you just want to make sure that you're careful. Now that I added my homemade compost, a little bit of short starch, and I mixed it all in, I'm going to go ahead and add the tree to make sure that it's at the level that I want it to be. Alright guys, so I pretty much filled it up. This container is humongous. The root ball wasn't as big as I expected it to be, but it will take off now that I put short starch and I put the right amendments in here, like the compost that we have and the citrus and palm. Now, another thing that you want to consider when you're putting trees inside containers, this container has a big scratch here, so it's obviously going to go towards the back of a wall. So I'm going to look to see which part of the tree looks nicer to ensure that the tree is facing the direction that I need it to face. That way when I put it where I need it to go, it looks amazing. And I already did that. This is the face of the tree. It's going to be looking outwards from this direction. I love the way it looks from this angle. I'll show you guys once I'm done. Now that I know that it's in the ideal spot, this is going to be the back of it. I'm going to backfill the rest to make sure that it's completely set up. You know? Now a lot of you guys are probably going to ask me what size container this is. I'm going to see if the tag says it, but I'm going to be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea what size container this is. It just looks big enough for me, so I decided to pick it up. I will look at this tag to see if it has measurements and show you guys. If not, I can just literally measure it with the measuring tape so you guys can see the dimensions. Now another thing you want to do is you want to compact the soil just a bit. That way the roots are in there and you don't have to worry about it being wiggly. And that's it, guys. Today I'm going to be repotting this special tree that's my pink lemonade. It's a Eureka lemon that has lemons with stripes and the inside is pink. It's very unique fruit and I absolutely love it. Now the reason why this tree is special is because this was actually an air layer from about 3 years ago. I took it from my neighbor. It was a success. I'm super happy that it's still growing and thriving. So I'm going to be potting it to a bigger pot so that way it can continue to grow and hopefully give me fruit eventually. I have 2 of them. I purchased one from Home Depot and I should say the big box store, and this just in case this air layer didn't work. However, it did work, so now I have 2. One of them I already repotted, is right behind me. I'm not sure if you guys can see it in the shot. I'll show you guys in a bit. And this one, it's still in this container. It constantly dries out because there's not enough soil in here anymore. I don't know if you'll still be able to see where I cut the air layer. I hope you can, so you guys can see that this one indeed was an air layer. It's not root, it's not a grafted tree, and it's not a tree from a seed. It's an air layer, which means that it was cloned. Some people call it cloning, some people call it air layering, some people I don't know, there's different names for it, but I am gonna just pull it out here. Hopefully you guys can see. Actually no, it's completely root bound. It's definitely ready to go into a new container. I can no longer show you guys what the cut looks like. I will link a video on last year when I potted it to that container, and you guys can see what the cut looks like from this air layer. But look at how amazing that looks. It actually looks better, this root bound looks better than the other pink lemonade that I just potted into that big container. So I already have a hole in this container, and I have some water bottles in there to help. And I'm just going to do the same process that I do with all my other citrus. I'll do it at a fast speed so I don't have to bore you with me talking, and you guys can refer to the other videos for more details, okay? I'm basically going to follow the same steps that I did with my previous tree. I'm just bringing you guys along just so you guys can see what I have going on in the garden and see how many trees I'm going to be up potting today. I hope that this is giving you a few ideas of what trees you can be up potting to bigger containers. Maybe you can go outside and do an inventory of how many containers you have out there, what can be repurposed for other things, what would be ideal for vegetable, what would be ideal for fruit trees, and maybe switch them around and make them useful. It's in its new home. I'm going to give it a new trimming, make sure that I remove all the dead wood, all the dead leaves. That way the tree can start focusing on new leafing and new branches. I absolutely love hearing about other people growing fruit trees in containers or in the ground and how long it's taken for their trees to produce. Please leave it down in the comments with details because I love hearing the stories. And this is where I plan on moving it to the front of my house where the divider of the garages are. I think it will look beautiful and add a beautiful accents to the front of my house. A lot of my trees around in my yard, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm doing an inventory of all my containers for several reasons. For one, all of my citrus trees that were in smaller containers needed a new home. They needed to get established in a home where they can thrive and produce. Second, I wanted to use the smaller containers for vegetables because vegetables don't have deep roots like fruit trees do, and I think the smaller containers would be ideal to grow like cilantro, maybe celery, maybe some mint. So the sun keeps going in and out, so I'm going to try to get everything done before it starts to rain. It's supposed to rain around 1 or 2. I'm up potting all my citrus trees. I already up potted a total of 2, I believe. I'm losing count here, and I did both of my pink eureka lemons. Videos are coming up for you guys, but today I'm also going to be up potting my lime tree. That's one of the trees that I haven't given much attention, and it was brought to my attention from my family that they love limes a little bit more than lemons. And as you guys know, I'm set with lemons. I have a big eureka lemon tree there. I have another eureka lemon growing aspalair right behind me that produce tons of lemons. I also have the 2 pink eureka lemons, but I have only 2 Mexican key limes, which do produce a good amount of key limes. However, they're small and they produce, usually we're harvesting around November and December, and these produce fruit at different seasons. So this is perfect for me to up pot it and give it a big house, so that way it can produce tons and tons of lemons, and I don't have to go to the grocery store and purchase some because we pretty much eat everything with lemons. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm pretty sad that I didn't get to do this sooner, just because now it's flowering, it's sprouting new leaves, and I might lose the chance of actually getting a production, because when you transplant your trees, sometimes I tell you guys not to expect any fruit that year just because the tree goes through shock, and it's recovering from the transplant and growing into its new home. So I'm hoping that that doesn't happen. I give it the right care and the right amendments in the soil. I'm pretty sure it will produce. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm probably gonna do it really fast so you guys can see what I'm doing, because I have a lot of videos and I pretty much do the same routine with all my citrus trees. I'm gonna just walk you through it right now, so when you guys see me what I'm doing, you guys can see what I'm referring. Basically, I use EB Stone citrus and palm soil. I use homemade compost. If you don't have homemade compost, you can also use what is it called? Warm castings. EB Stone also has a product. And then I use a product named Sure Start. Sure Start is basically a product made by EB Stone that helps the roots get established and help the tree, process the shock that it's going through. It has micro horizons. So it's an amazing product. I love it. I've been using it for years, and my trees have been thriving and growing in containers over all these years and producing fruit. If you guys have seen my previous videos, you guys can see back there, Lily's been picking up the kumquats. This year I didn't do a harvest of my kumquats because my kids literally eat them every day, and I just let it there for them. If it gets them out to the garden to enjoy the garden and a little bit of sun and fresh air, then I'm just going to leave those kumquats for them. I'm considering getting a third tree just because of that. They absolutely love it, and I do have a spot for it at my other side of my entrance. So anyways, guys, let's get to this. I'm going to post pictures of everything that I'm using today. That way you guys can find it. I will tell you, if you're in the East Coast, these products unfortunately are not available out there. I'm hoping that EB Stone branches out to the East Coast, because I have tons and tons of subscribers asking me about it, and I really wish you guys had access to this product. All right, let's get started. I know I didn't go into details on how to up pot your citrus trees. That's going to be a separate video. I just wanted to take an opportunity to show you guys what I had going on here in my garden and what I've been doing lately. That way you guys can get inspired to up pot some of your trees and start growing some vegetables. I will in a separate video on a tutorial on how to up pot your citrus trees to give you guys more details and give you guys step by step on how to ensure that your citrus is set up for success. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for all the constant support I get from you guys and all the wonderful comments I get. This is my last tree. I'm going to just make sure that I get all the bubbles out, water it, and we are all done. Alright guys, as you guys can see, the tree is completely up potted. It looks beautiful. I'm going to water it deeply to make sure that it's perfect and it's ready to go. It's that easy, guys. Lemon trees really don't require a lot. All they want is not to be sitting in water. Constant fertilizer if they're sitting in a container. When you just repotting, you necessarily don't have to feed it for a couple months, maybe 3 to 4 months, just because the soil that you're putting it in is going to have the nutrients that it needs for a while. After a while, I recommend you feed it once a month in the growing season. Alright guys, as you guys can see, it looks beautiful. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments down below. If you guys like videos like this and want more, give me some thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. You guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to give me thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified for more videos like this. You have a blessed day. Bye-bye.